Hello, hello, hello.
So where are we going today, Adonis?
We're gonna do listings today because I was looking back. It looks like we've done everything but that recently. So it's been about a month since we did listings.
So we're going to do listings like opportunities.
Yeah, we're gonna do an opportunity single family listing. That's what we'll do today. Maybe we'll give it one more minute to see if anybody else hops on, and then we'll get started.
Your shirt that got put on my desk.
Oh.
It's your this.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, I'm thrilled.
Okay, so I think we should get started. So I see a lot of familiar faces. So I think a lot of you are already familiar with the drill, but we're going to go to Chrome because Chrome tends to have the best accuracy when we're using command. We're going to go to agent.kw.com. That's like one single agent.kw.com. And you're going to sign in using your MyKW login credentials, which you most likely already have. And from here, we're going to be able to do what we need to do. Everyone, I imagine, has at least one contact in your database here in Command. And if you don't, you have to at least create a contact. Every opportunity needs to be associated with an actual contact. You don't have to have every bit of information for the contact, just their name and email address will be sufficient for what we need to do today. So once you have at least one contact in your database, then you're going to be able to come down to these two hands shaking. That's how we do an opportunity. And we're going to be doing a single family listing opportunity today. So I'm clicking on opportunities here. And don't worry, you don't have to worry about following me step for step on your computer and on mine, because we're recording this session and it will be available on YouTube by tomorrow. So you can play it back over and over. So right here, we're on our opportunities dashboard. The first thing I'm going to do is click on this blue box that says create opportunity with the white letters. It's so fun to watch your backgrounds. There's so much stuff going on. So right here, we've already clicked on create an opportunity, and now we need to fill out everything that's in red. So if you're from the Stanford office, Stanford's already selected for you. If you're from Richfield, the same will be true for that. So we have 4 different opportunity types, and this is one of the most important things that you have to get right away, because they won't let you change this in the future. So since we're doing a listing, we're gonna keep it on listing. The owner of the opportunity is just who is the person, who is the KW agent that's created the opportunity. It's you most times. You don't have to really change this. I guess the only difference would occur if you were on a team. So you're going to type in your client's name. It has to be a client that already exists in your database, or else the person's name won't show up. So I'm going to pick somebody from my database. Who should I pick? Uncle Jeff, why not? So you get to rename the opportunity to whatever you want to name it. If it's a listing, you probably already know the address, so you can just type in the address there. And then you can put down anything else that you already have the answer to. If you know the expected closing date, you can put that down, but you might not have that yet. If you know the listing price, you can put that down. Maybe you have that, maybe you don't. The commission rate. So we know that this is our listing. We're not sure if we're going to be on the other side of the listing yet, but we know that we're at least on this side. So put whatever percentage that you are getting on this transaction. I'm going to say we're getting 3% here. And then below that, we've got our opportunity phase and our opportunity stage. This is just to help you with your transaction so you know where you are in the process. It's more for you than it is for the office for a compliance standpoint. So you have the choices of cultivate, appointment, or active. So you know where you are with this person. Cultivate is maybe a relationship that you're trying to build. An appointment maybe means you have an appointment set. Active means you're already servicing this client of yours. And then you pick whatever stage makes the most sense to you. You'll see that mine are not the standard stages that Command starts you off with. That's just because I went to one of Jen and Jackie's classes from Leverage Out, where we customize these to make more sense for our region. In any case, gotta move my little bar down here so I can press the button. You're gonna press create. And now you've created an opportunity. So good job, you're well on your way to greatness. You've created your opportunity, and what our offices would like you to do, especially on a listing, since you know what the address is, you see this word property here. To the right of that, we have a pencil you can click on. It's very faint. For whatever reason, they chose gray on white. But you're gonna click on this pencil here, and then you're going to type in the address. You should type in an address that actually exists. Hopefully there is one that exists. Yes, I'm just gonna use one of these, even though it's not the real address, because I was just making a fake address. But you'll notice once you type in the address and the address line, it already knows it's the United States of America. It knows the city and town and everything. So really all you need to do is type in the right address on line 1, and then you can press save at the bottom. Debbie, you okay? Debbie's face was looking so serious. I'm like, oh gosh. Okay. So now that you've done that.
I'm stuck in Zoom hell right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So don't ignore me. I will turn my face off.
That's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay. So we have put in the correct address here so our MCA team can be happy. Now the next thing we're going to do is press documents on the top of our screen here. So we've clicked on documents, and now we're at the area where we can see which documents are required, optional, or conditionally required for a transaction. This is a listing transaction. You can tell because it says the name of the street and listing at the top here. It's got my contact. It's got the address. And these documents on the middle of my screen are all the documents that we would expect to happen with a traditional listing transaction, right? We've got our exclusive right to sell. You'll see that some of these fields are clickable and some of them aren't. So exclusive right to sell contract, for instance, this is the form that we're looking for. You can't fill it out here, but once we get to Docusign, you will be able to fill it out. So I'm just gonna press the X button. But just know if you wanted to just print a blank form, if you were face-to-face with someone and wanted to get wet signatures that way, you could print or download right here for a generic form. You'll notice you can't click on field card or the MLS listing printout because this is something that's going to be unique to your transaction. So there's no example to show you there. You'll also notice that we're currently in the listed folder, right? So these are the initial documents that pertain to a listing that you just get. And then you'll see there's an under contract tab on the left side as well. When we click on under contract, you'll see there are different documents here. So the next thing we need to do.
Debbie or?
Oh, Debbie or everybody. The next thing we need to do is.
No, incorrect. My first name is D-E-B-I.
All right, Debbie's taking over. So what we're going to do is press the start transaction button right above submit to MC. So when we click on start a transaction, it may still give us, two options, but what we need to do is click on Docusign because we're not using .loop anymore. So we're clicking on Docusign. And now a new tab is going to open up so we can get to Docusign. So you're going to log in with your username and address, your email address and your password is what I meant to say. So now Docusign has created a room that is linked to the opportunity that we created in Command. So it starts you off on this Documents tab, but the first thing we need to do is go to the Details page to the left of Documents. So you see the word Documents is highlighted in blue towards our top left. We're going to click on Details so we can edit this page. This is the page that's going to pull a lot of the information that we write here to the other documents that we're going to be using for this transaction. So on the far right, the first thing we need to do is press the edit button, the white pencil and the word edit with the blue background. Now that we've pressed edit, we can edit all these fields to our liking. So you'll see at the top, we've got the name of the listing. It tells us what side we're on. And we can fill out any of this information we want to fill out. So the first thing we're going to do is type in the address. The more we type in here, like I mentioned, the easier things are going to be for us as we go through this transaction. So let's say it's one or what do I call it? Street. And I should have picked somewhere close. I have no idea what the county is. Let's see. Let's pretend this is city in Fairfield. So we'll call it Fairfield County. And if you know the year built or the property type, you can put all that information down as well. But you don't have to go crazy here. You can just write the information that makes the most sense to you. If you know the listing date, for instance, you might want to put that in. Let's say my listing is starting tomorrow and it's going to expire a few months later. We can put the amount of the listing if we know that already. We probably don't have any offer details since we are just dealing with this person now. So the next thing we want to focus on is the right side of our screen. You see where it says seller one? This is where our seller's information should have popped up. It didn't, but that's no big deal. Let's just write it in now. You don't have to do the phone number if you don't know that, but if you do have it, you can type that in as well. That's just a made-up number. And put an email address as well. And if you have their address, you can put that down as well. We most likely do have the address. This is their home that they are selling. United States. Okay, so let's just press the save button. We've edited our screen as much as we wanted to edit it here. So now we can go back to the Documents tab at the top of our page. From here, on the far right side, we can press the Add button. It's Add in white letters, and it has a plus sign and a blue background. We'll press Add, and then it gives us 6 different choices. The choice we're going to click on is Docusign Forms, which is the second option on this Add screen. So we're pressing Docusign Forms. If you've never pressed this button before, you're going to get a pop-up that appears right over this screen, and it's going to say that you can select a realtor association. You don't need to do that. There's going to be an option towards the bottom right where you can press blue letters that say continue without entering that information. And then you'll also get another small pop-up box that appears. You can just press the X on that, and then you'll see this screen. And this is where you get to choose which documents you want to add to your Documents tab. So it starts you off on the Docusign Forms library. I would ask that you change it to Docusign Forms group. The reason being, when we go to select a group below, where it says select Docusign Forms, you can click on this drop-down arrow, and you see they're already broken down into different property types. And you just need to select the one that makes the most sense to you. Today, we chose to do a listing. So out of these 4 options, listing docs dash property makes the most sense for our purposes. So let's select that. As soon as we do that, you'll see there are all these forms that we can choose from that pertain to a listing. And you can look through them. If you wanted all of the forms, you can press select all, and they'll all be selected. Or if you just wanted to handpick a few that make the most sense for you for now, you can do that. This is an initial conversation we're having somebody, initial representation. We're gonna want to have the agency explanation disclosure. We're gonna wanna have the exclusive right to sell. And you can add whichever documents make the most sense to you, of course. Joanne says, how do we create forms that are not already here? What do you mean by create forms, Joanne? Do you mean how do we upload forms that aren't here? I want you to keep asking me that question before I answer that. How do you upload forms? Okay. So let's just say that
Let me back out a second, Adonis. And yes, I know how to upload forms from my computer, but then they're in PDF form and I've got to add each and every block. So how do we get forms in here and have it in form style so it populates the info we have?
Well, if you upload a document that's not a document that we've already had for you as the office, you're going to have to upload those. You're going to have to add those fields individually, Joanne.
Right, but they should be here. Like, for instance, exclusive right to represent tenant, or you know, the exclusive right to represent the seller. They're not all in.
Oh, that's what you're saying. You're saying that the forms that are supposed to be there are not there.
Correct. So how do we get them here?
That's a great question that we'd have to talk to Ridgefield about.
Okay.
I haven't seen what their setup is looking like. I
Gotcha.
know Sam on our side added these forms individually and templated them.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to make sure I was hearing you correctly. All right, so I've added these two forms. Are there any other forms you guys want me to add from this listing side? Maybe I'll just, let me look at these.
Adonis,
Yes, Lydia.
yes, I just wanted to understand, and you don't have to redo this if we need to go back. Just, can you just verbally tell me if I wanted to get the New York forms, like New York listing forms and New York, everything, how different would it be in terms of what I would select here?
All you'd have to do is change it from Docusign Forms group to Docusign Forms library.
Okay.
And then when you go to select the library, now you've got 4 different choices. You've got HCAR, you've got NYSAR. These are all your New York documents.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so let's say we've added the forms we want to add, or we selected the forms we wanted to add. You'll just press the add button now. And then the forms that you've added will appear right on this page. And now that you've got the forms on your Documents tab, here's where you can further edit them. All you have to do is click on the document. It'll load for a few seconds, and then you'll be able to start typing whatever you need to type. So, because we edited the details section of the details page, a lot of those details pre-populated into the form, which is awesome. So we already have our owner's name, and it didn't give us the firm name. That's probably my fault. I didn't put it on the first page. So we'll just enter our Keller Williams information here. Got the street address. We've got the listing price, we've got the zip code. Contract will go into effect on what day? Let's say it's tomorrow. And it will end sometime in the future. But you see, it's really easy. You can just type right into the boxes, whatever you want to type, and it will save all this information afterwards. Yeah, 6%. So use the verbiage that you're comfortable using, of course. And anything that requires a signature or an initial, we're not going to worry about this yet. We're going to take care of that when we get to the envelope. Yeah. So we get the point here, right? And if on the last page of the exclusive right to sell, you can write intentionally left blank if that's what your practice is. When it's all to your liking, you can just press the save and close button, and it will save the work that you've done so far. So let's say we're ready to get some signatures on a document so we can send it to our client. Now we can click on the envelopes tab. Envelopes. Envelopes, envelopes. What do you guys say? I think it depends on how I feel at the moment for myself. But whatever Alice says is probably the right way to say it.
Tomato, tomato.
Yes, that's right, Joanne.
It depends on how much money you have.
Right, right. It's one of those words that has 3 ways to say too. You can also envelop someone with your presence, can't you? So it's a really special thing.
Yeah, that's it.
So we're on the envelope page, and now we can press the create a new envelope option, which you'll either find in the middle of your screen if you've never created an envelope for this particular room. And if you already have one, then the best way to create a new one is to press the new plus button towards our top right. We've done that, and each envelope starts off with the generic name, please Docusign. My advice to you is to change that immediately to a more appropriate title based on what's inside of this particular envelope. So maybe I'll call it Listing Agreement Docs. But you can type whatever speaks to you. The next thing we're going to do after we name the envelope is add documents to the envelope. So we're going to click on Room Docs, and we're going to select the documents we're interested in. I only added 2 this time. You could have added all 19 that are in that folder. And you're going to press Add Selected. And now our documents show up. You can even, at the bottom of the, never mind the bottom, if you just go to hover over one of the documents, you'll get the all 4 directional arrows. You can click and drag to change the order of the documents if you choose. The next thing we're going to do is add our recipients to the envelope. So we're going to click Add Recipient, and we're going to click Pre-tagged Roles. It's important to select pre-tagged roles because this way, when we go to send the envelope off to our participants, then they're going to have color-coded areas to know when they're supposed to initial and sign. So let's press pre-tagged roles. And so we're representing the seller. So next to seller 1 on the far right side, there's a drop-down box that says select. We're going to click on that and find our client's name and email address. The next thing we're going to do is find ourselves. Since we're the listing agent, we're going to go to the listing agent row and select our name that will appear on the available recipients list towards the bottom. And since this is a document that we know we need a RIC signature on, one of the documents, the exclusive right to represent, exclusive right to sell, we're going to click on listing broker as well. You don't have to press the little check mark as long as you press the select on the right side. So let's press select. Oh, sorry, ignore that information. Let's press the little select. Let's press a little check mark for listing broker. The reason we can't select the listing broker is because we didn't add him as a person yet. So he's not someone that we can press the drop down box on yet, but that's okay. I'll show you what we need to do. Let's press the add selected blue box here towards the bottom left, and then our recipients will appear. So now, the next thing you want to make sure is that the order is in the right order for the recipients to receive these documents. So we like to have our client receive the documents first so they can sign, and then we can review it, and then we'll sign, and then after that, Rick always signs last. So my client's name is Jeff. Let's keep him as number 1. To change my order to number 2, to the left of my name here, I just click on the box and turn that 1 into a 2. And to make my listing broker number 3, I'm going to click in that box and turn his 1 into a 3. So now you see the seller is 1, the listing agent is number 2, and my broker is number 3. So let's just add our broker's information. Right, Rick Scott here. And we'll put his email address. Right here. So now we have the name of our envelope, we've got the documents in our envelope, and we've got our recipients. So the next thing we need to do, well, the next thing we have the option to do is rename the email that goes out to our clients. The generic email that we'll send to them will say, please Docusign. You can edit that by clicking on the box and typing whatever speaks to you. You can also enter a message as opposed to there being no message. You type in whatever you want there. When you're all done with that, the next thing we're going to do is press the next button towards the top right with the yellow background. Press next. This is not going to send it to them yet. It's just going to get us ready to send it to them. We can further edit it. So we've got our agency form right here. And you'll already see that it's color coded. So yellow represents my client. Every time he sees yellow, he's going to know that's something for him to fill out or sign, or at least address. Blue represents myself, the listing agent, and purple is Rick. So there's nothing that needs to be done on this page since we did a good job on our initial setup. For the exclusive right to represent, you'll see when I click on any of these words, I can't edit the words here. That's why we edited it on the documents page before we get here. But let's just take a look at it, make sure it looks good. If there was anything here that didn't look to your liking, I'd recommend pressing the back button over here next to please Docusign. I'd press the back button and then go back to the document section and edit whatever words I need to edit further, and then come back into the envelope and continue before I press the send. So you'll see these are all areas, whether something is present or was treated, or if they have knowledge for it, our client will be able to click on the bubbles and fill in those whenever he's ready to. And you'll see at the bottom of the screen here, we've got our signature areas already in the appropriate areas. I've got my owner to the right. I've got myself, the authorized rep, to the left. I've got a Rick signature area over here in purple. So there's no date signed next to Rick. What we can do is on the left side, we've got all our fields that we can edit. Let's click on the drop-down box where it says Jeff Davis and change that to Rick Scott. Now you'll see it's purple, which is Rick's color. So if I want to get a date signed box to the right of his signature, I'll just click on date signed, which is the third one down on the standard fields on the left side. I'll click on date signed. And once I click on it, when I move back to my screen, the mouse allows me to put that date signed anywhere I want. So I'm going to put it to the right of his signature and then click on it, and now it's locked into place.
And can you scooch that signature down? That bugs me that it's on a city line instead of a broker line.
Oh yeah, good catch.
You can scooch that down.
You know, Bill, I was just typing
Okay, perfect.
to that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're all out of whack, so we have to.
That's strange. They're not normally this out of whack. Good eyes, everybody. I don't know what happened there, but they're normally.
Sizing or something. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the good news. It's fully customizable.
And Adonis, the date of the contract at the top of the pages, we didn't put that in any place and it's not populating.
Sorry, say that again.
The date of the contract right there is not populating and we didn't put anything in. So
Yeah, that's probably because I didn't put anything there. Yeah, if we want to change that, since it's not an area that currently has any writing on it, one thing I could do is click on my little drop-down box towards the top left and click on my name, and I could add a little text box. If I click on text on my left side, and I can drop the text box here, and I can type in the date there. Right, so if it was 5/27/2020, and I could just enter that right there. And I could do the same thing here on the third page. So that is an option for us if we didn't want to go back to the documents page and type it over there.
Then you can tell who did that as well, because it's colored to you. You're
That's correct.
coded to you, right?
Yep, very true. And then when we go to press the send button towards the top right, as long as we've looked at our documents and believe everything is correct and to the standard that we want it, we can press the send button and it will start to go, our documents will start to be sent in the order of our recipient. So they'll go to my client first, and then after my client views and signs it, it'll go to myself. After I view and sign it, then Rick will get it. So let's press the send button. Also, Docusign is good. It knows for the most part if you're using a real email address or not. I've done test cases before where Docusign told me, basically, we tried to find the address you're talking about. It doesn't seem to exist. So always make sure you've got the right email address for your clients. So we've sent our envelope with our documents to our clients. And as soon as you press the send button, you'll notice it puts you back to the envelopes page. And our envelope color is currently blue. There are 3 different colors an envelope could be. If you have a draft, which is an envelope that you started, imagine you have documents that you want to stuff in an envelope, but you're not ready to send it out yet because you're just not ready. You have the option to save and close that envelope so all your work is not lost and it would just appear gray. And when it's waiting for others to be signed, like the document we just sent, it'll appear in blue. And when it's been fully signed by everybody, this will be a green bar instead of a blue bar saying that it's completely signed. So let's say that Debbie,
Are you on a different page than where you can save it and not send it, or have you already started that sending process?
because I've already started the sending
You did
process,
do.
we can't save it.
Can't do that. Okay, I thought so, but checking. Thank you.
But to Debbie's point, let's say I started a new envelope. To the far right, if I press the new button, here's my generic envelope with this generic name, please Docusign. There's nothing in it yet. Towards the top of my screen, there's the save and close option. If you press save and close, now you'll see what I was saying before. We've got a gray draft here. And then you can always click into it later and make changes. As for the envelope that we just sent, if we click onto that one, you'll see that we have a few options. We can resend it. Let's say it's been a few days and Uncle Jeff gets a lot of emails, so he didn't see the email. We can press resend. We can also press correct. And there's also a more option. More will just let you view the documents and a few other options. Correct is if you wanted to make a change, you can press the correct option. As long as no one has signed it. If someone has signed it, then it's too late to make a correction. But currently, Uncle Jeff didn't sign anything yet, and I might realize that I had something incorrect. So I can edit whatever I need to edit on this page since no one has signed it yet. You see at the top, there's edit signing fields. I could click on that and edit whatever I need to edit and then resend the documents. So let's say that we've got our signed documents. Oh, one more thing. If we go to the Documents tab on our top left, these are our basic documents that we added. Anything that was signed, you see at the bottom of my document where it says form, towards the bottom middle right, it would be green to let you know that it's been signed. We don't have any signed right here because they weren't signed, of course. So if we go back to command, we just click on the command tab, which is right next to our Docusign tab at the top of our screen. Now we're back in command. And if we wanted to attach these documents, now we have the opportunity to attach all the signed documents that we got signed. So you'll see to the right of the name of the document, we can press add a file. So let's pretend I have my exclusive right to sell already signed by everybody. I can press add a file on the right side. and it gives me 3 choices: manual, DocuSign, or custom folders. There's this browse option. If we had the document saved on our computer, maybe you met someone face to face and they signed it for you in person, you could scan it from a computer and it'll automatically turn that into a PDF. Then you could press the browse button, find it on your computer and whatever PDF you have and attach it that way. Or if we got the document digitally signed through DocuSign, let's press the DocuSign button under source of documents, and then we'd click on Smart MLS exclusive right to sell. The way you can tell the difference between the one that's signed versus not signed, towards the end of the name of the document, it would say -signed. So that's how you know that that's the one that you have signed, as opposed to the one that you were working on that you wanted to get signed. So let's pretend that this was the signed version. We'll click on assign, and our document will appear to the right in blue letters. So we know we've attached a PDF. And you'll notice that the submit to MC that was once gray is now blue, and you're able to click it if you wanted to submit documents to your MCA. Another cool thing about our command site is if you had multiple documents that you wanted to attach at once, you had maybe 10 or 12 documents that you got signed by your clients. Instead of doing add a file individually, you can press attach multiple files up here, which is to the middle of our screen here. We can press attach multiple files, and we can change the source of our documents to DocuSign. And then you'll see to the right of every field that's applicable, we can press the down arrow and we can click on whatever documents we want to assign to their right area. So if we had our agency explanation disclosure, we click on that, and so on and so forth. We'd be able to attach multiple files at the same time and then press the attach button at the bottom.
So that's how you separate them if they're in one long PDF.
No, if you want to separate something that's in one long PDF, you do have the option to do that. We do that directly through DocuSign. That was cool. I didn't always know we could do that, but Marty Miller showed us how to do that one day.
Yeah. Okay, so this is just a collection of documents. You're just uploading individual documents when you click that button. What you
That's
just
right.
showed us. And now there's a different thing. Can you show us how to separate the documents? Does anybody else need to know that?
Let's just do it. Let's just do it. It's a good thing to know. So when we're on our Documents tab on DocuSign, I clicked back to DocuSign. I'm not in Command anymore. Towards the top left of any document, you can press this little circle. So I selected both of these documents. And then if you right click on one of the documents, then you got a few options. When you right click, you can rename, edit, split. So let me click on split. Oh, what happened here? Oh, sorry. These documents are already split, obviously. So, all right, so look at this. As long as you have at least one of them selected, you'll see that we have a few options at the top. We can copy, we can move, we can email, we can DocuSign, download, archive. So because I've only selected one, the combine button doesn't exist. Once I select both documents, now there's at least something combinable. So our fourth option here is to combine. If we wanted these to appear as one document, for instance, we can press combine. Oh, unfortunately, these are not compatible documents, but let's pretend that we uploaded our own documents. They would be compatible, of course, because DocuSign would just view it as a PDF. Do I have anything I can upload? Let me see.
You just showed me where those buttons are, so that's helpful. So in
That's
other
fine?
words,
Okay.
we could upload a combined email that had multiple PDFs in it, and in the room, we can separate with that split document icon.
That's
Okay,
right. Yeah,
thank you. That's
it's
good.
cool. It's very helpful. It lets you split it however you want to split it. And
Yeah.
rename the documents you split. It's
Like in the other D word, like in the other, right? You used to be able to split those in dot loop as well.
right.
Right, so it's the same thing. Thank you.
Mhm. No problem.
So Adonis, one
Yeah.
question. To Debbie's point, when you upload a document, how do you get it to here in the Docusign in order to split that? Like, how does it transfer to this side? Because it's uploaded on the not on the Docusign section, right? Isn't it before that under the opportunities?
Add another
The
document
window
to
prior
this
to
room,
this.
Adonis. Show her how to add documents to this room.
So when we press the add button on the top right, we can add either.
No, I know how to add documents.
What'd you say, Lydia? Lydia? Oh, okay. So you can either add Docusign forms right from Docusign, or you can add your own PDFs that you have maybe on your computer. So if you want to add something from your computer, the first choice is computer. Click on that.
Okay, I'm sorry, you're coming in and out. So
Huh?
Docusign here, your photos right on my, and then there's an area here. What does it say? Does it say?
Your voice was breaking up, Lydia. Say it again, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hopefully my Wi-Fi is okay.
So far I can hear you.
So
Go ahead.
you're here, and can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
I can hear you, Lydia. Go ahead.
Okay, when you're in this window here, you have the drop-down menu. What are you selecting from the drop-down?
When I press the add, I would press computer if I wanted to add a document from my computer.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem. Anyway, we're gonna go back to command now. Actually, let me see if someone said something in the chat. Yes, money call, that's right, Ron. So once we've added all the documents that we wanted to add, we have the option to submit to MC. That's just like submit to review, which you're all familiar with. So we press the submit option, and then it'll ask you, are you sure you want to submit this for review? Avoid delay and approval by ensuring all attached documents are accurate. Contact your MC if you have any questions. If you're not sure, press cancel. If you are sure, you can press the submit button. That's like putting this transaction on the radar of your MCAs so you can get paid on this transaction, so they can follow up with any attorneys they need to follow up, and they can follow up with you to make sure that you submitted all the paperwork you're supposed to. If you haven't submitted something, you'll be alerted by your MCA department that you haven't. You also have the option to add more items if there's something important to you about this transaction that is not one of the fields below here. You can add your own item. Just press the add item option and name it whatever you want to name it. Select what type of document it is from this list and get it from wherever you want to get it, whether it's on Docusign or on your computer, and then you press the save button, and that will appear on your list as well. You can also add a comment. If you press add comment, this is if you wanted to reach out to your MCA department and ask them a question. You just have to press the @ symbol first, just like someone's email address. You might want to say at Lisa Katz, I will get you the property condition disclosure tomorrow, for instance. And you can add that reply and it will show up. Press the X to leave here, and your MCA department can comment to you as well.
Now, Adonis, on on these documents, for all intents purposes, so we're not driving our MC completely bonkers, we should have the majority of the, if I'm not mistaken, we should have the majority of the documents uploaded in each category, like listed, have the majority of those there before we submit, so we're not submitting each and every one separately, correct?
If it's a listing, you're probably going to want to press submit to MC as soon as you get that listing contract signed by everyone.
Oh, okay.
But on the buyer side or any other side that's not a listing, yeah, I would just say press submit when it's time to submit. And the other thing about that, Joanne, thanks for bringing that up. When you press submit, right now we're only submitting the listed folder. We're not submitting the under contract folder. So if you have all the documents you need in listing, you can press the submit to MC. And you can also go to under contract on the left side. If you have these already, then you can press submit to MC there as well.
Now, once we do an initial submit to MC, as we add other files, do they automatically go, or do we have to resubmit?
I believe we have to resubmit at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Adonis,
Yeah, go ahead, Lydia.
where do we keep files that don't necessarily, like we want to keep with the record, but don't necessarily go to the MC? For instance, like survey items and, you know, other miscellaneous things that the MC is you know, doesn't care to see.
So let me ask you, Lydia, is it important for you that they not see it, or you just?
No, it's just that I don't know if that would be, you know, cluttering them with information that they don't want. Like how do we keep records with the client here? Like if I want to keep all the transaction information together, or should I be doing that separately on my computer?
I think that's up to you right now. I haven't explicitly heard from any of the MCAs that they don't want you to add any extraneous items. If you want, you can press add item and add all the items here. Or if you would like, on Docusign itself, you can just upload documents over there if you want to just have them all affiliated with that particular transaction. This way, you don't submit them to the MC, but you just have them for your records. You could do it there, maybe.
Okay. All right. So here it would stay with the record.
Yes.
Okay, great. One more question.
Go ahead.
When you are in the actual form and you're adding, let's say, the signature for Rick, etc., and you did mention if you wanted to go back and edit something that you had put in prior on that form, can you go through that step? You said you would get out and go to documents. Would it be right here?
It'd be right here. Yep, we're not on envelopes anymore, so we would click on the document we wanted to edit. Let's say it was exclusive right to represent.
Okay.
Maybe I realized I had the wrong dates or the wrong listing amount. Anything I want to change, just click on the box and type the new information you'd like to have there.
Okay, great. And you save it, and then that's it. You can go back into the envelope.
That's right.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem. I believe that's all I have.
So let's say that you've got.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Well, let me ask you something, Adonis.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you've gotten it signed, and you realize the date is incorrect. What's the best way to handle that?
That's one of the best things about adding your documents through the Documents tab, because you can change whatever you want on this. What I mean to say is, let's say you had the signed version that has the wrong date. As soon as the screen closes, I want to show you something. So your signed document will look a lot like this one that says SMLS exclusive right to list contract, except it'll say -signed. And that's how you'll know that's the one that was signed and has the wrong date. You can just start a whole new envelope, and when you send the envelope and add this document, the one that wasn't signed, you can edit it however you want to, because it won't appear as the one that was signed incorrectly.
So in other words, you're resending the entire document.
Yes. Another thing I'll say is back on the command side, we're not using this commissions option yet because commissions doesn't do everything that green sheets can do. So when you have a green sheet to submit because you want to get paid on a transaction, you still have to do a green sheet the traditional way. Going to mykw.kw.com, signing in with your credentials, and clicking on technology at the top of your screen and hovering down to green sheets. You have to do green sheets on any transaction unless it's a dual agency where you represent maybe the buyer or the tenant and a Keller Williams agent from your office represents the listing side. In that case, the listing agent does the green sheet. So conversely, if you're the listing agent on this transaction and another KW agent brings you the buyer, then you are going to do the green sheet for yourself and that other agent. And if you have any questions about green sheets, please reach out to your MCA.
Now, Donis, how would we utilize the custom folders down on the bottom left there? What's the best purpose for those?
That's a fine question. I haven't played with custom folders too much, but if we press add new custom folder, I think it's just for our own personal records. Maybe there's something else that we want to have for ourselves.
Well, that's what I was wondering would be a good place for Lydia to store her other documents that don't necessarily have to go to the MC.
Yeah, that would be fine because honestly, our MCAs, they've got enough work on their plate where they're not going to be investigating any additional folders unless they were looking for a specific document. If you have something private that's meant for no one's eyes but yours or yours and your clients, maybe you want to add them there, or maybe you want to add them to Docusign directly. It's up to you. But that's a good thought, Joanne.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Good idea, thank you.
So, anything else?
Thank you, Adonis. Have a good day,
Hey,
everybody.
Adonis, I have a quick question.
Okay, John, thank you.
If I wanted to edit my client's name, but I've already started an opportunity, will the system allow me to do that?
To change your client's name in command?
Yes.
Yes, you can definitely do that.
Because even though I've updated his profile, when I go into all the docs that I started to create, it still has his old name.
Which docs?
Exclusive right to list. You know.
So you mean in Docusign?
Yes.
Okay, in Docusign, if you had his name wrong, just go back to the details page here on your far left and rename him. Maybe you put an extra syllable where you didn't need to.
Right,
just press edit and change him here. That's where you want to
so you do it in Docusign then?
Yeah, because that's where it's going to translate to all the other forms. So this is the most important place to change it.
Great, thank you.
Good question, John. Okay. So if there's nothing else, thank you guys for attending. I appreciate you being here. We're going to continue doing these classes until we hear otherwise. So every Tuesday, we'll probably do a different topic. And don't forget, we have our KW YouTube page that you can get to by going to YouTube, KW Stanford and Ridgefield TV. You can go ahead and give that a subscribe. We have them broken down by different types of videos. We have all kinds of playlists. I'd recommend checking those out because we've definitely done an opportunity for command, for we've done tenant, we've done buyer, we've done single family listing, and we've done purchase. So we got you pretty much covered. All right, I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and we will see you next time. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, Adonis.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you,
good,
John.
excellent.
No problem. All right, bye-bye.